Yes. Hi, welcome to our October 16th, 2025 regularly scheduled monthly board meeting. I'll call it to order now at 6:05. Can I have a roll call, Jen?
Stephanie Amard.
Here.
Malinali Lopez.
Present.
Paul Cagorno.
Here.
Rich Carnation.
Here.
Bill Adams.
Here.
Student board member Rebecca Herman.
Here.
Natalie let me know that she was in heavy traffic and so she would be late.
Okay, great. We are starting out with item 3.2, report out of closed session. We have an expulsion, so we are going to take care of that. Let me see. So let me read that out. This is case number 091625. Do I have a motion on the findings of fact?
I'll move to approve the findings of fact as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And then do I have a motion to expel the student through the end of the calendar, or through the end of the school year?
I'll move for such an expulsion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. The flag salute will be led. Well, I can't see who it's supposed to be led by, so.
Bill.
Bill.
Here it is. All right. Everybody, ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Item 3.4, adjustments to the agenda. I believe we have an item to add.
We do.
Tell us about that, Jen.
So we would like to add the 2025-26 classified and confidential salary schedule.
Okay.
It was just missed when the agenda was published.
Okay, great.
We
And
could
so
get a
that,
vote for that. That would be great.
would that be added to the end of 5, section 5?
I believe it's going to be added. Is it consent or is it to the end? Okay, so the end
So
of 5.
5, 6. Okay, so do I have a motion to add, sorry, can you repeat what schedule it is?
It's the 2025-2026 classified and confidential salary schedule.
Okay. Can I have a motion to add that salary schedule as item 5.6?
I'll make a motion, please.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, report from student board members. Do you want to, oh, you're here. Hi, welcome. Report from student board members, Rebecca Herman and Natalie Valdez. Take it away.
So this is our report on September and October. Next slide, please. Our first school was Brooks Elementary. It was a very exciting, I think this past week was really exciting for them because they had their Brooks color run, which was super fun. I got to attend and for the 3rd grade, and it was just so amazing to see all the kids running around and like just they were having so much fun. And it was so beautiful, like the colors in the air and on the ground, and they had a balloon arch. It was really great. It was put on by the PTA. And yeah, just an overall great experience for all the kids, I think. Upcoming, they have a 3rd grade Zun Zun assembly on October 28th during the school day and a Halloween parade on October 31st, which I will hopefully attend. I'm excited.
Okay, coming up, our next school is Maddie Washburn, and they had their PTA meeting on the 10th, and upcoming is their PTA superhero jog, which is tomorrow, which hopefully we'll be able to attend. We got to hear about all of the fun ideas that they had and how they're integrating their special education program on campus as well, so that'll be super exciting. And then the Halloween parade that will be at David Smith's Park on October 31st from 9 to 10:30 a.m. And then following that, the Fair Fall Book Fair that will be from November 3rd to November 7th from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And there's some cute pictures from the parade.
Next, we have Cali. They had their Loteria night on September 19th, a family parent night out salsa dance, which was really interesting to talk to the principal about. It seems like they're doing a lot of great stuff, not just with the kids, but also including the parents. They also had a family movie night on October 10th. Upcoming, they have the middle school dance tomorrow and the Day of the Dead celebrations on October 24th. They also have another family movie night on November 14th.
Upcoming at Windsor Middle School is the Boosters Open Meeting in the library from 4 to 5 p.m. and another wonderful coffee with the principal on October 21st at 9:45 a.m. And we got to enjoy the first one with Culinary's wonderful little treats and obviously talking with everyone. So, yeah.
And this is Windsor High School. We had our homecoming spirit week, the homecoming football game, and homecoming. Very exciting weekend. And the football game versus Miramonte on September 26th, which was a win, 59-21. The Club Carnival on October 10th, which is just all the clubs out in the quad, and you can walk around and look at new clubs and kind of figure out where you want to get involved, as well as the Club Open House on October 13th through 24th, which is going on now. I think there's been a lot of great stuff coming from that, and it's kind of like the Club Carnival, but you actually get to experience a meeting. Upcoming, we have the honest and true real-life story of the Princess Bride on October 23rd, 24th, and 25th. That's with the Nueva Corps. There are posters down there if you want to grab some tickets. We also have the... Sorry, what?
Okay, I'll talk a little bit about Rivalry Week, but it's something we got approved this year, and it's such a fun addition to add. Usually, it's where we have our Fall Spirit Week, but instead, previously our leadership program got to attend the Making Connections conference at Rancho Cotati High School. And so I got to connect with Dina, the ASB president at Rancho, and kind of talk about new fun ways that both schools can increase spirit at the football games and at any sporting events. So we thought it'd be a really fun idea if both schools participated in sort of a positive rivalry week. So we will both be doing the same spirit weeks at both schools. And then on the day of the Halloween game, both schools will be dressed up in Halloween costumes, and then they'll both run through the posters, and we're hoping it'll just increase spirit, especially having the game be on Halloween. It's super fun and get everyone there. So yeah, that's kind of the new thing, Rivalry Week.
Nice.
Next up is Big Picture Learning, which we're going to be meeting with them on October 22nd, which will be our last school to meet with. But Leaving to Learn is on September 24th, where advisors and students take the train and the ferry to SF and learn public transportation and kind of how to utilize it in the North Bay, and also get some physical activity. And then following that is the California High School Voter Education Week, which will take place, well, it's currently taking place, September 15th to the 26th, which raises civic awareness amongst voters and motivating students to either vote or get registered to vote or pre-register to vote. So, yeah.
And now is Windsor Oaks Academy. They had a Latino culture film discussion in San Rafael. There's some photos from that. They have a great program where they go to a farm and volunteer once a month. A few students get to participate in that. So they had that on October 10th. They had the mural walk yesterday, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yesterday. Yeah. And every month they have a Fiesta Friday, which is where the students and the teachers cook together. And they also have upcoming is the Native Film Festival on November 17th. They participate regularly in blood drives, and they're currently in communication with Widgeway to put together a sports tournament for the two alternative schools, so hopefully with, I think, basketball and soccer.
Yeah. Okay, next is Bridges Core at Windsor. And so obviously we have Best Buddies Club meetings every Wednesday during lunch. And there are some fun photos from the Windsor Day Parade. And then coming up, which is super exciting, we've been preparing the meetings, making posters, but next Thursday, we'll be going to Montgomery High School for the first Special Olympics of the year, which will be soccer. So everyone's just super excited. We've been practicing every day and getting pumped, so that'll be super fun.
When does that start?
It starts,
October
we get there at, when does it start? We get there at like 9 a.m. So it's between like 9 and 1:15 p.m. So yeah, it's kind of the whole day, but yeah.
And finally is the Windsor Unified School District Spotlight. I'm going to let Natalie talk about this because she's the one who talked with them. Do you mind?
So I got to speak with Tegan McCoy about Scoliosis Awareness Club, which they meet every A-Day Wednesday at lunch in G113, which is Mr. Hilliard's classroom. And so it was founded by Tegan after she was diagnosed with scoliosis and was anticipating her spinal fusion surgery, which her mom's back there too. So that's exciting. And it raises awareness through making posters to put up on campus and discussing the significance of this congenital disease. And the club's creation was driven by the goal of showing how someone can take any negative experience and make it positive for so many other people. They went from 11 to over 20 club members in a single semester, and they're looking for so many new ways to grow. So we can't wait to see how they grow throughout the year. And also with the spotlight, if you're from any other schools, I know we've only kind of shine light on what the high school has been doing, but we definitely want to reach the younger schools audience. So, you can reach out to us and we'll be reaching out to see, what other students are doing on the campus. So then we're also highlighting all the schools and all your students. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that thorough update, and we really appreciate all the work that you've been doing, going to so many different events and campuses. Okay. Our next item is 3.6, which is our assistant superintendent report, but I think what we're getting is a site scorecard presentation.
Yes. So it's false advertising. It's not the superintendent, it's me. And I also want to take this opportunity to bring up all of our principals. So every year that we've been doing these scorecards, we've kind of been refining them because we want to make them meaningful. Of course, our intent is to have some conformity between, TK all the way through 12th grade, but with all those different grade level spans and all those different languages that we have to do, we just can't use the same measures for every single school. So some of the schools are going to be a little bit different, but what we want to point out is what we're going to be sharing today is the baseline. So the students took a RINSTAR test pretty much as soon as they came in from to school starting in fall. And so we're going to be spending a lot more time once we have the second administration in the wintertime. And so when we come and do our presentation in January, we'll be able to show you where they started and where we are in that midpoint. And that's when we're going to talk a lot about the strategies that we're doing, what we see that's working, what's not working, what we need to improve, what we need to change. So for today, this will be brief because we're just going to go over the baselines and kind of establish so the board gets an idea of where our students are. And I will go ahead and kick us off with Maddie Washburn. And so you'll see that we have to break it down between early literacy, and that's what some of our kinder and first grade are doing. And so they're coming into us with a baseline of 32%. So 32% are scoring kind of in that green level, which means they're kind of on track. And so there's a lot of area for us to improve. And then moving into second grade, 28%. And then for first and second grade in math was at 26%. And now I'll bring up Ms. Viemeyer to talk about Brooks.
Thank you. Hello. So as you can see, for our overall school English language arts, 36% of our students are sitting at that, thank you, at our on grade level in language arts and 31% in math. Based on the Youth Truth Survey, these are the 3 areas that we're going to concentrate on for this year. So for students, it's engagement, and does your teacher ask you to keep trying when the work gets hard? The baseline was 57% of our students said yes. For staff, professional development has provided me with teaching strategies to better meet my students' needs, and the baseline was 53% for that. And for our parents, the topic is engagement, and it's parents and family members are included in planning school activities, and our baseline is 50%. Thank you.
Good evening. Buenas tardes. Really quick, I'm going to talk about the baseline at Cali, and I'm going to break it down in different grade spans too, in Spanish, English, and math. So if we do see there our early literacy in Spanish, K through first grade, it's we are in a 68%, so we are rocking it. And we will hit even more farther down. Then we do have the math in Spanish, first and second, with a 30%. We need to work a little bit more into that tier 1 instruction, but we will get there. We are gonna keep working hard. We do have our ELA that at this grade level, K through second, because of our 90-10 model, dual language, we do not, our language target is not English, it's Spanish, so we don't have data on that. Next part there is the span grade 3rd to 5th. In Spanish, we do have 45% of our students being at or exceeding. So it's pretty good, but we can do higher. Always high expectations there. Restart math, we do have a 60% right now, which is I'm very proud of. ELA, 39%. And then going to our grade span 6 through 8 in Spanish, 38%. We need to dig a little bit more into that data and build it up in the next session or in January when we get there. Math, 7th and 8th in English, 44%, higher than in the previous years. So we are getting there as well. And then ELA with a 48%. But I love to keep working on. So then in the area of our measures that matter at our school, looking at the Youth Truth Survey, we do want to concentrate in the student area, 3rd to 5th in culture and engagement. Those points are the lowest in our survey. Where in the culture, I feel that my classroom is a positive, respectful space where everyone can focus and learn without distractions. With a 41.4%, we're gonna get better. On that one, engagement, I feel motivated to meet my teachers' high expectations and to stay actively involved in my learning and school community with a 54.8%. 6-8 engagement and academic challenge is going to be our focus. Engagement, I feel connected to my school and motivated to take part in my school and learning experiences with a 63% right now. Academic challenge, my classes challenge me to work hard, think critically, and reach high academic standards with a 69.4. Right now, we want to get higher. And then regarding the staff, we want to TK8 across campus. We want to concentrate on professional development and support, where I feel that my school supports me in my work, provides meaningful feedback, and offers opportunity for my professional growth. Right now, we have a 69.4. We want to improve in that area as well. And relationships. I feel supported by positive relationships in my school where colleagues and leaders show respect, care, and approachability. Right now with a 79.4. And regarding family, we do want to keep working on our relationships with our families and on the culture on campus, where my parents believe that their kids, their children, school works together with families to build shared goals and a community grounded on respect, fairness, and appreciation for diversity. Right there, we are at a 73.8, and in relationships, we're at a 79. It's not bad, but we can make it better. So that's Cali right now. Go Cali.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lydia. Okay, the middle school. Just so you know, I will be sending in how all the clubs at the middle school. I will blow, I can't help myself. So I will be doing that. So thank you for the offer. Good evening. Windsor Middle School, so our baseline scores, as you can see, 47 in ELA, 51 in math. The students connected and thriving. We polled the kids last year of what they wanted us to gauge on Youth Truth. We're keeping it for the second year at 46. They enjoy coming to school most of the time. And when they're feeling upset, stressed, or having problems, there's an adult that they can connect with, 43%. They took that in their science class in September, and they'll keep taking it until they get to Youth Truth in January. Our staff decided to keep the teachers in my school work together to improve instructional practice, and we started out at 80% as our baseline. Okay, so this number kind of blew me away a little bit. Our community, I would recommend my school to parents seeking a school for their child. Last year, we ended at 82%. I only had 53 parents take the survey, but I wanted to submit our baseline, and I know I'll blow it out of the water. We'll be fine because it's Windsor Middle School, but we're starting at 62%. We want to be at least, the school site council, they're like, wait, at least 80%. And I said, yes, of course. So that's what our goal is. Thank you.
Thanks. Let's dance.
All right, hello, good evening. So we start with baseline for RenStar ELA, we're looking at 60%, and RenStar Math, we're looking at 25%. You'll notice that we pulled out 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. That was on purpose. Our 11th graders take CASP, right? And this is a good way to kind of gauge what those scores are going to be looking like. In terms of Youth Truth, so students connected and thriving, my teachers explained things in a way that I understand. That was our lowest, it's called percent positive at a 38%. So we're going to focus on that this year. Last year, or maybe even the year before, we polled our teachers in terms of the Youth Truth question they wanted to focus on for staff. And so we're going to maintain that with, I feel empowered to play a meaningful role in decision-making at my school. That was at 57%. And then our site council this year, they got together, they looked at the parent Youth Truth results, and these were the two that they picked. So the first one, I feel empowered to play a meaningful role in decision-making at my school, 31%, and then teachers clearly communicate expectations for my child's progress at 50%. So we're looking forward to helping those numbers grow. And then I have two additional ones on my scorecard. So we've got the percent of 9th graders who earned a D or an F. This number we should be really, really proud of. I'm just going to point out last year when we started this in freshman seminar, we were at 44% of our freshmen earned at least one D or F, and this year we were at 24%. So freshman seminar and Avid 9 are killing it. They're doing an amazing job, and I look forward to continuing to see how they're supporting our 9th graders. And then lastly, the percent of students that are graduating college and career ready, we're holding firm at that 45%, and we're working on how we can increase access to some of those markers to get that number up, and I'll share more about that in the winter. So thank you.
Hello, everybody. So for those of you who don't know, at Big Picture Learning Windsor, we don't do RenStar. So our numbers are based on competency evaluations that are done by student advisors based on a body of work that the students produce. So our baseline this year, we're looking at communications competency. It's on a scale of 1 to 4. And 3 is generally considered a number where students are prepared for college. And so we're looking at a total of our students being 54% at or above a 3. And when you look at grade 11, it increases to 67%, and grade 12 is 80% for communication, which would be more commonly called English. And for quantitative reasoning, mathematics, we have 32% of our student body at or above a 3. And for 11th graders, that is 22%. And for 12th graders, it is 70%. When you look at our college and career indicators, we're looking at the percent of our students who have an LTI, which is learning through interests or internship, and students taking a course at the SRJC. So currently, we have 75% of our students already out working with a mentor in the real world. And our JC numbers are down a little bit. We only have 3% of our students out at in dual enrollment right now. And in terms of all staff connected and thriving, we have 92%. That is from the Spring Youth Truth Survey. And this year, our Site Council determined we're going to have a new goal for Youth Truth for the Strong Family, Community, and School Relationships category. Last year, our goal was that families agree with the mission of the school, and we were at 99%, so we decided we should choose something that we're going to actually make some progress on. And so the goal that they chose, or the category they chose, was teachers clearly communicate expectations for my child's progress, and that was at 68% in January. And so Site Council, we worked together to come up with some ways to increase that number. So that's what we're working on right now. Thank you.
So thank you, board. As we said, tonight's just about to give an idea of what the principals will be focusing on this year and establish our baselines, and they are available if you have any questions or comments. And as I said, we will have a lot more in the wintertime when we're doing our growth report, where you'll be able to see kind of how they're using those strategies and what impact they're having.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would appreciate, I think Lydia mentioned it, there was comparing from year to year. If we could, when we get the winter one, perhaps draw a diagonal line and have all the numbers from last year, so that as we see, I understand some of the questions have changed and whatnot, just to get a perspective, because the trend and comparator to me is one of the most significant things, because that kind of gives an indication of where the arc is going, which way.
So showing last year's scorecard as well and kind of compare the two?
Yeah, just, break each one of those boxes in half, and you can have, you'd have a line already filled in, and it would be the prior year.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be helpful for me, because when I see in some of like here, this one doesn't have the goal, and so that's good data to start with, but it gives no connection to the past and how this is arcing hopefully positively.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for all the information.
I agree with that, and I had a question for Lydia, and this is maybe me misunderstanding the data, but to Bill's point, maybe it is good to have a comparison, because what it looks like to me, based on the numbers that you showed for us, it looks like they're less proficient in Spanish over time, and also less proficient in math. And I'm wondering, is that because the standards are much higher as they grow up in grade level and they're just not keeping up? Or why does it look like what you presented? It looks like they're actually less proficient over time.
Yeah, and that has been actually, when I was looking at the data, it kind of my eyes went to that 38% in Spanish at higher levels, where it should be the opposite. The kids should be growing up. So that's some work that we have to do in Tier 1 instruction and intervention, which we have studied with our PLT work as well. But that's one. And with the math, we are doing that P3CC with the change in the strategies and bringing the talks, number talks in the class, and opportunities for the kids to engage as they are using the language. And it's something we need to be working.
Do you have any instincts off the top of your head of why the numbers are going downward instead of upward? Like, are there any glaring patterns, for example?
I would say that tier 1 instruction needs to be, some of those practices needs to be, they need to be more into a student center and hands-on to make the kid own that learning, and teachers being a coach guiding that work as well. So we do have work to do. And regarding with the math with the language in math, as they move up, the kids move from that Spanish to English in 7th grade and 8th, and that could be something also that could be limited, the acquisition in the math as well. We do have, because of our dual language program, more students that are RFEP at the end of their higher levels or grades, exiting the program, being English learners too. So that is another area that we have to also look into and support our English learners.
So Trustee Lopez, I'll point out that when it's early literacy, it's about can they read or can they not read.
Right.
When we're getting up in the higher grades, it's about comprehension.
Right.
And you'll notice that there's a pretty tight correlation between the English and the Spanish ratios because it's testing comprehension in both languages. So the focus that they'll be working on is comprehension skills in both languages. And so I think that's where it's showing, and kind of where we need to put our efforts is not about the Spanish acquisition, but about the Spanish comprehension and the English comprehension.
Right. That affects also the math part, because the kids need to be reading, they need to be understanding, comprehending also the different scenarios.
That's a very good point. Thank you. And then also my other question was for Ms. Buckman. I'm very concerned about the math scores and how that relates to students being deemed ready for college. And there doesn't seem to be a correlation from what it looks like, because, you have your math scores at about 25%, right? But I don't understand, how are they being deemed college ready if, our math scores are only at 25%?
So I think when we're thinking about the college ready, it also depends on which college you're speaking to, right? So if we're talking about a student being A through G ready, which means they're going to a CSU or a UC, they need to take through Math 3. And so a way that we've worked to address that is we actually increased the graduation requirement from 2 years to 3 years. So prior, a student could take Math 1 and Math 2 and then be done with math, right? And then never take it again. And so now with this graduation rate, or with this graduation requirement, we're actually seeing more of our juniors taking a math than they have in the past. That was something I was planning on sharing out in the winter, but historically we've had about 70 to 75% of our juniors taking math. Last year we had 91% of our juniors in a math class, and we actually saw an increase in our CASP scores, I think because we're having them stay in math longer. And so these scores are us kind of changing that historical trend of only taking a couple years of math and really pushing them to stay in math longer.
Right.
So
it's a bigger pool. Is what you're
exactly.
saying. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, of course.
Anyone else? And we do have our Board of Trustees report next. So I know some of us might be saving some thoughts for that.
I was gonna do it under the Board of Trustees, but I guess this is just as good a time as any. I have a dichotomy. I have a lot of respect for our administrators and a lot of respect for our teachers. But somewhere, our students aren't getting the math that they're supposed to be getting. And for me, my goal is 100%. Because every kid that leaves our district not competent in math is hosed. They won't understand how to get a good interest rate. They won't understand how to invest their savings. They won't understand if they're getting a 0.5% raise, a 0.25% raise, no raise. They won't understand if their bills, you have to be good at math to be successful in life. So that's my dichotomy. We have really bright people here in our education world. And we have really bright kids. But we're not intersecting somewhere. Now, I've been on this for a while, and almost to the point where I'm like, and if I was king for the day, I'd say, I don't care what you guys are doing anymore, because I've heard for 6 or 7 years, we're gonna try this program, we're trying that program, we're seeing improvement here, we're seeing improvement there. I just flat out make the kids memorize their numbers, because you know what? I had to do it, and every kid that I went to school with had to do it, and you know what? Every kid that I went to school with, we are not mathematically illiterate. None of them. I don't know if that's the answer. I don't know what the answer is. I just know that you don't have to be too smart to figure out that there's a problem. So I want our board to hopefully agree to set up a workshop quickly where everybody can bring their ideas. I don't care what the idea is, and I don't care who it comes from. If somebody knows how to make it so our kids can thrive in math, I'm on board. Let's do it. If it's not learning how to memorize stuff, okay, then show me something different. I know personally that worked for me. And every other kid I went to school with, they're all my age and all are doing incredible. I mean, if you did a study of my high school class, fabulously successful in everything. It was funny, I just got a little side note. They were talking about the 5 most successful financially people in the world. I saw this a little big. The third group were teachers. And the guy says, you would wonder why teachers, because they don't get paid as much. And they go, teachers are because teachers are smart and they know how to invest their money. Anyhow, that was just, I thought I'd throw that out there for you since we have a lot of teachers in the group. So anyhow, but I want everybody to put their little thinking caps on. And when we have our little meeting, our little workshop, I'd like everybody to start thinking about, what are your ideas? How can we do this for our kids? How can we improve what it is? I know we have the human capital in our district. I know we have the raw materials in our kids. We got to figure out how we can do better. And we can't keep coming up with a new feel-good program that we're all excited about, and then 2 years later, the scores end up looking like this. This is, it just, so while we're doing better and we're in some areas and we feel good about how we feel about certain things, we're not doing better in Jeremy or somebody says the area, something that matters, measures that matters that measure, or whatever it is. Hey, our kids aren't learning the math like they're supposed to. So I'm asking everybody in the community, I'm asking the teachers, the administrators, I'm open to any suggestion. I don't care what it is. But we got to get better. And our scores are basically supposed to be a reflection of what our kids know. And so I'm asking for everybody's help so we can get better at this. And that's kind of what I was going to bring up in our thing. But since we're talking about it, I don't want this to be a negative. I want this to be a positive. We're going to put effort and time and resources. If this was a work environment, I'd say, hey, you need help in math. Nope, we don't need that elective class. That's for fun. We're going to need to get math so you can have a lot of fun the rest of your life. So anyhow, that's kind of, I'm looking for everybody's help. And I hope we can have a workshop and workshops to continue to improve. Thanks.
Any other comments, or we save more for the board report?
I just want to say that number that you put up there, last year, that same grade level did 26%. So I echo most everything that you're saying. How does it go down 10%? The same kids, same group of kids. Those are just questions. And I agree with you. We need answers and we need to figure out what we're doing.
Okay, I'll go next. I'll just do what I was going to do in the next item. So these are my thoughts. Like, I think that as a board, we're really lucky to be able to look at student achievement and be able to focus on it, because I think there's a lot of things that we expect schools to do and we expect teachers to do and the people who work and run schools to do. We expect you to do a perfect job keeping kids safe, teach them how to communicate, help them learn how to socialize, help them learn how to be good people. Like, we have all of these expectations as a community and a society. And then on top of that, we also want them to know English and know how to read and write and know how to communicate and make arguments effectively and understand how to do math and mortgage rates and, you know, how to manage their finances when they graduate. So it's just a lot that we have to do. But I think from the board perspective, I think sometimes it can feel like, why are they like picking on people? Because it kind of seems like, and you know, I try to be sensitive, and this is why I'm not allowed to have Facebook on my phone anymore. If you know, you know. But you know, we just want the best for our students and for our community and for our families, and we're trying to figure out how to do that and work collaboratively to do that. And it's frustrating because what we see is, what I see when I see the data is I think back at like the kindergarten numbers that you showed right at the beginning, 30% came in prepared. So basically the biggest predictor of whether our kids are going to do well in school and learn the standards is if they came in already knowing the standards, because we kind of fall back to 30% at the levels where we fall back. So it's like, you know, we're doing a lot of things, but we have to figure out how to do this one too. We just have to. So that's my thought. And I think workshops, good. I really want to dive more into the data at the workshops, because I think we're just seeing a snapshot. And then you have to think about like following one class from one year to the next. And then it gets really complicated when you're just looking at one snapshot of 1 year without the context of, oh, this particular cohort, they were in K through second grade during COVID, and then this is where they are now, and this is what, so we need to really break down like who these students are and make sure that we have an eye on that. And I know that we have lots of things that we're doing, and I think we kind of have the structure in place, but we need to make sure that we're actually all doing all the things that we are all kind of have agreed to do. So those are my thoughts. That's what I was going to say in the next item. Does anyone have anything else? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, 3.7 Board of Trustees report. Do we have anything left? Nothing left.
There is one thing left.
Okay, go ahead.
I brought up at last board meeting about safety issues with e-bikes and e-scooters, and I tasked the board with coming up with something, policy, or what are the rules of, are they allowed to have them on campus? I showed you the Safe Routes to Schools, who say that an e-bike and an e-scooter, you have to be 16 and wear a helmet. And I know that these bikes and scooters are coming to and from middle school. In fact, today, one of them made a very unsafe passing right by, what's that on the corner there? By the Safeway, and then there's the next corner, where the RCU bank is. It went straight through, wrong side of the road, on the sidewalk, to the other side of the sidewalk, through the crosswalk. I don't know if I'm talking to air, but I mean, we need to do something. Somebody is going to get hurt. Another incident, when we're talking about safety. Going home, behind a bus. Bus pulls over to the side, lets the kid off on Old Redwood Highway, where there's no sidewalks. What does the bus do? Doesn't wait for the kid to cross the street, doesn't get out, put a stop sign up, let the kid walk across the street, takes off, and then the kid starts to go across and then stops when my wife says, stop, because there's cars coming the other way. We've got a problem. And I don't want anyone to get hurt. We need to look at e-bike safety. In my opinion, the e-bike should not be allowed at the middle school, period. High school, they can be 16, they could have them, fine. But anything lower than high school, e-bikes and e-scooters should not be allowed on campus, period. It's a law. And a lot of you are like, I know the cops must be looking the other way, Windsor Police looking the other way, because I see them every single day, kids riding those through the streets. It's not legal. Why they're not tagging them, I don't know. I have to take that up with the Windsor Police. But as far as safety for our schools, I asked us to come up with something, and I'll ask you every meeting until we get something done. I don't want to see any kids getting hurt. It's only a matter of time. I've had 3 close calls in 2 months. So that's all I want to say on that. And well, I do want to ask, has anything been done at the district level?
Yes, we reviewed all of the same policies that you're discussing, and then we also explored looking at the safe routes to school because they have many of all of those same processes that you're looking at. They also have public meetings, and so we were looking at in terms of how, because I reviewed the last minutes from their meeting, and they talked about safe routes to school to all of our schools, and that's what their meetings typically are. So we've been talking about in terms of having a dedicated presence at those meetings, and so that we'd have a connection with the people in the town, because ultimately, yes, we can ban them from the schools and they could park them at the park. And so really it is about enforcement from all of the adults that supervise these children. So that would be Windsor PD, Windsor Unified School District, public safety, all of them together. So it seems like that organization already exists in the town. We just need to utilize it, and that's what we've been discussing.
No, and that's good, and that's a good first step. But I also think, I'm just wondering, do the parents know what the laws are? That's what I'm really wondering. If we couldn't put something out at Brooks, at Cali, at the middle school, if we couldn't put something out to them, because I think the parents just don't know what the laws are and what the rules are. So, I mean, that's a great step too with the safe routes to school, but I think that could also help.
If you are going to do that, send it out. You might want to send it out soon, so that way parents who might be thinking about getting little Billy or Susie a little bike with a battery in it that they aren't going to be able to use, that they don't go, man, I just spent $2,000 on a bike so I didn't have to drive my kid to school and now we can't use them. So just as one of those people that might have thought of doing something like that, bicycle sales are going down. But anyhow, the one thing, Brian, if you could check on, I'm sure that those rules apply to if the kid's riding it on the street, but I wonder if that rule applies to if they're on the sidewalk. I don't know, but anyhow, if you could.
They're really not supposed to be on the sidewalk.
No. And not on the sidewalk either?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're supposed to be following all the same rules.
As a motor vehicle?
Way back when, the middle school used to require bike permits. And the only way that you could bring your bike, I think, Jen, you might remember this, is that you had to have a helmet and you had to have a bike lock and you had to demonstrate that you were safe. And that's another thing that we've also considered in terms of if you're going to bring your not just your e-bike, but any bicycle, because they're all dangerous when going, at those speeds, that you have to demonstrate. And then if we see you in the community and you're not being safe, then we have that way of saying, well, you no longer have your bike permit. Same thing we do with the driving permits or the parking permits at the high school.
Paul, I want to add too, for the bus incident, I know that was a one-off incident, but that Pete and I fully did an investigation. Parents were brought in, student, bus driver, changes were made. So we can talk offline about that, but yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Because it was scary.
I'm glad there was a one-off, and I just wanted to bring it up because I just think every day I worry between the hours of when they're getting to school, when they're going back, and I don't even want to get in my car and drive during those times, and it's scary out there. So and I'm glad to hear it was just a one-off situation. Thank you.
Okay.
I have an announcement.
Okay, go ahead.
Have an announcement? No. So I have two items I want to say, or 2 items that I want to share about. So the first one is in the spirit of celebrating good news. I just want to say that I'm very proud that there's a reclassification celebration that's coming up on October the 28th at the Windsor High School. And this is celebrating students who have achieved a high level of English proficiency. And I'm also especially proud of the fact that 7 students in that group are students that were in the extensive needs program. So this is a huge, overwhelming success, 107 students being celebrated on October the 28th at 5:30 at the Windsor High School. So great work there. But having said that, I do want to shift gears a little bit because I just want to say that our board, I feel, has been, very respectful and in a very polite way has, addressed this challenge that the school district is currently facing of our district-wide scorecards. But I do want to say that it is very disappointing to know that somewhere around 40 to 50% across the board in our schools are students who feel like they're receiving the support that they need or that they feel welcome at the school. And I just want to say I find that to be far too low. It's really not enough, and we really need to do better. And I look forward, to participating in a board workshop, with support of the community to discuss, what are our strategies going forward. I find this to be simply unacceptable just for the fact that we all, create policies here at the board, and also the teachers work very hard, the principals work very hard to push our students to show up, right? They want really good attendance. But what is it that the students are coming to if only half of them feel that they're being supported at school? To me, I just find that simply unacceptable, and I just want to be very blunt about that. So we really all need to just do much better. So I just want to say, I think that these district-wide numbers on our site scorecards are just dismal. They're just not acceptable. So I'm sorry to end on a not great note with that, but we just need to do better.
Actually, sorry, I got distracted with the math, but actually, one of the things I have to report is, as a board member, I'm on the town council, not the town council, but the town's committee on the solid waste, the garbage committee coming up. And just want to encourage all of you to, if you're town and they live in the town of Windsor and you get your service to the town, please do the survey. Get on the town, been blasting it out through all the bills and different things. And please fill out the survey. Just FYI, right now, the town's contract for the last 30 years, when I first was on GPAC a million years ago, up to now, the garbage and the waste hauling has been done as part of the town's RFP. And so there's different laws and different regulations and things that are changing and what have you. Anyhow, right now, the value, so to speak, of that service that the district has been getting is somewhere in that $600,000 to $800,000 range that may be going away, meaning that it might not be getting allocated to the various bills throughout the town, and it might be just coming straight to the school district that the school district has to absorb. That's a big financial hit. So anyhow, obviously, I'm going to try and do what we can as a member of the board on that committee to kind of help keep everybody informed of what's going on. But everyone in our district is going to need to be able to start by taking the survey, and then going to have to be involved with the process in the town of how our solid waste is taken care of. And just super quick, because some people, and I don't have the answer to who did this yet, but our waste costs in the town of Windsor and every other municipality in the county, we start off at a big chunk of money because everything has to go down to the Meacham plant by law. I requested the documents, but I don't know who signed off on that lawsuit way back when. Anyhow, so that agreement is for 20 more years till 2045. And then there's another thing that goes on top of that where we have certain things that we are required to do by the state as far as recycling and different things that certain percentages have to be done. So our bill, like I want to say 80% of it, it's already, the soup is cooked. We're already paying, as an example, this is not exact numbers, so if my one little favorite person who watches from home is listening, but in general, we're paying about 60% more per ton for our solid waste in our county than they do in the county right next door because of that agreement. So we're 60% behind our neighboring counties just because of that agreement. And again, I haven't researched that agreement yet to find out if there was some good, something that made sense at the time. But anyhow, I just want to let you guys know, there are some big changes coming. I don't know how it's going to shake out at the end, but you guys' help and by filling out the survey, being involved, keeping an eye on what's going on is, as a town person, is going to be very, very helpful to our campuses. And I'll keep you guys more informed as more things progress. It actually is going to happen pretty quick though. So things are moving quickly. I know that there's going to be a meeting coming up, I think next week, that's open to everybody for questions and answers. So just be aware, be looking for things and be involved. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, we'll move on now to public comment on non-agenda items, item 3.8. You can approach the podium. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Please start off by stating your name.
Good evening, board members and Windsor Unified School staff. My name is Kevin Scanlon and currently a 28-year resident of the town of Windsor, Windsor Creek Residential and Elementary School neighborhood. I've been in the government realm for over 40 years and an educator for 27 years. I was a volunteer for 16 years at Windsor High School. Let's review the last 14 months. The district emboldened itself to announce publicly that they're business partners with Gallagher Builders for one of the largest apartment complexes to be built in Windsor. Remember the history. Coal mining companies did the same thing. Their workers worked their tails off to make a profit for the company in exchange to purchase items from the company store and reduce rent for housing. But in reality, the workers were putting their wages right back into the company's profits. The district blew the opportunity to have probably about $50 million in a bond right now through last year's situation, which is unfortunate because we know that you guys and we all need the money. Then the whole PK and TK program and associated buildings were almost lost. That was a close one, but saved by the Lytton Band of Pomo Indians and their infusion of cash. Community involvement is what the concept that the district needs to learn from. And the Pomo Indians have done a great job in reinforcing that. The Quail Acres debacle was fun to hear. Weird outcome though. We'd like to have more information, but that's not going to come out. So because of the Santa Rosa City School failure, 700 students left that district in June to get throughout the county. The PK-TK recovery, because of the PK-TK recovery, the students from the Lytton Band of Pomo Indians, the district per student monies certainly has become a boost to the district. But where do these students go after school and the weekends? The benefits of being good stewards to the community is we in the community surrounding the Windsor Creek Elementary site have notified police and fire to minimize the trespassing, burglary, and arson incidents, which, yes, have saved the district probably a few $1 million in potential lawsuits that no doubt could come from any one of the multitude of incidents our neighbors decided to report, mitigating what we perceive as deliberate indifference for that location. Gallagher has now seized the property at Armando Renzullo and Condi, the Quarry Creek Apartments, which will only take about 6 to 8 months to do, depending on what the weather says, to build a 4-story, 106 apartments, using the project as a blueprint for the Windsor Creek Elementary site. The construction equipment at the Quarry Creek Apartments, upon its completion, will be available for the Windsor Creek Elementary site from a mere fence post distance away. Interestingly, Gallagher's business partners, or not business partners, but employees, placed the construction office trailer closer to the main entrance to the site, allowing an easy transition for Cora Creek Apartments to assist with the Windsor Creek demise.
Kevin, 3 minutes. Thanks.
Just if you could give your closing thoughts.
Correct. That'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Many other school districts have done the right thing and sold their alleged surplus property to their cities and counties, or co-opted the property to be turned into sports complexes and meetings. Putting students first and the community first will be helpful, and we appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just remind the audience that the board is not able to comment on on this portion of the agenda. All right, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Maggie Koshnier, and this is proud Cali grad, and this is my 10th year as a teacher at Cali Kameka. We often refer to the Cali community as a family, and now with a child of my own attending Cali, I feel that even more. As teachers, we not only represent ourselves, but the needs of our families and the community as a whole. Right now, what we need is a fair contract that values our health. So I'll use myself as an example. My own family of 4 is all on my healthcare plan. And side note, thank you, Rich Carnation. I did learn math from my teacher, Marshall Salinas at Cali. So I did a little math this afternoon, and I found out that I would be getting a pay cut. I currently work 80% to be with my children more, but looking to work 100% next year and looking to a pay cut. So about $3,000 a year. Why is that? Because in the last 4 years, my healthcare premium has increased 197%. That's obviously the fault of the greedy healthcare industry and not our district. But the weight of the increase should not be borne entirely on the shoulders of the school counselors and the teachers. So 4 years ago, we voted for a cap in district paid contributions to healthcare. And this was, until then, we had a percentage of the premium paid by the district. This was with the understanding that when healthcare costs went up, as we knew they would, we could negotiate to share the burden. However, since then, all of the increases to healthcare have been getting paid by teachers since then. And now we're hearing from our negotiators that management does not appear to have any intention of meaningfully increasing their contributions to healthcare. So that's why I'm here. Board trustees, we are counting on you. Show us that you value our work in Windsor schools enough to guarantee fair pay and quality benefits. Please call district management and let them know it's time to come to the bargaining table with a meaningful offer. Thank you.
Hello, Superintendent Tucker and Board of Trustees. My name is Catherine Mirabali, and I am currently a 5th grade teacher at Brooks Elementary. I teach math, and I am also the WDEA Executive Board Secretary. When I moved to Sonoma County 8 years ago, Windsor was one of the most desirable school districts to work for. One reason was, at that time, their lofty health care benefits package. My husband's company is a small independent business, so it is up to me to carry the healthcare plan for our family of 4. In 8 years' time, our Windsor benefit package has decreased significantly, which has led to an increase in the teacher's out-of-pocket monthly expense. This last month, I have decreased my retirement contributions as a 20-plus year teacher in order to supplement what I'm going to be paying out of pocket for my health care. As a 20-plus year educator, I should not have to do this. I ask you to please give us an acceptable answer to our requests, as we are depending on you, our board, to ensure that the district office reviews their spending practices so that teachers don't have to reevaluate our own. Thank you.
Good evening, all. First of all, I want to tell you, this is my 20th year as an educator. I have never, ever come up and spoke from the perspective of something happening with a union. Because I've always said I really value the relationship between the district and the board and the teachers, because it is a family, and families work together and families love each other, and with love we find solutions. And I still believe that, because with love comes trust. And I feel as an educator, especially in Windsor, I'm not just trusting you for my family's livelihood, but also for my children's education. I have a freshman at Windsor High School, and I'll also have a 2-year-old in the upcoming preschool program, hopefully in January. And I'm going to continue to extend that trust. And I love every moment with the students in the classroom. And I continue to give every single bit of my time. I even give extra time, and I get grants for our arts programs. We just the other day, we got another $4,100 donated to us for our Cali Art program for our 6th through 8th graders. But where I'm starting to feel nervous is, okay, every year though, I have to trust that it's gonna get better for my family financially. And I'm feeling as a teacher, not just for this district, I'm not only blaming our district, I'm blaming our economy as well, but I feel that the idea of, well, teachers, I felt a little bit taken aback hearing, well, teachers are the best, they're the smartest, they're the best. Well, yes, we're smart, but sometimes no matter what we do, we can feel powerless, because sometimes with the economy, we keep saying it's gonna get better, but then it doesn't. I've never been able to own my own home. I've never been able to pay off every bit of my student loans for my master's degree. I've never been able to put aside a sizable opportunity for savings, not because I'm bad at math, but because I've never made enough money to live in the area I live in, where I love my family and I love the school. If we have better benefits and a little bit more money, we might be able to do that, because we love this place and we want to be able to have our families be here. And we're still committed to being proud Windsor educators. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional public comment? Seeing none, I'll move to staff association reports. All right, WDEA first.
Susanna Pfeffer, WDEA president. In about 2 weeks' time, it will have been a year since WDEA opened negotiations, and here we are still not negotiating. It took 4 months for the district to come to the table after we opened negotiations, and really we should be done with negotiations, but it feels like we are back at square one. I know that it feels like we're very far apart, but I have to believe, for the future of our students and the future of our teachers and their families, that we will find a place somewhere in between that we can live with. We aren't there yet, but we have to get there. That's it. It's nice to see you, Trustee Adams.
Thank you.
Hello there, board, district. Good evening. Good to see you. I brought a, I don't want to say slideshow. My husband would say I sound like I'm coming from the 70s. I brought my Google presentation tonight, and I would like to share with what CSEA is up to. So we just wrapped up our salary negotiations, and for us, it was a win. I know it sounds like we're living in a different world from our teachers, which in some ways we do live in a different world. But for our members, this was a big deal for us, and we were pretty happy with our outcome. Of course, we wanted more, but we did our best, as I spoke at the last meeting. We're also processing some MOUs. We're working with the district on compromise on some things. Our labor rep has been writing those out. When Jeremy gets back, we'll work on that. We've been attending our EERC Employer Relations Committee meetings and staying in good communication with our district. We're working on adding new language to our constitution and bylaws regarding online voting options. It's amazing we haven't had that up until now, to be able to vote online for everything. Been old school for far too long, so I've been working on that with our members. Oh yes, and all my photos are AI generated, so enjoy. So we did secure our wages for 25-26. We received 3% effective July 2025, so it'll be retroactive. We buffered the front end of our wages to be increased this year because we know we were going to feel those benefits hit us at the end of October. So, and then in 26 and 27, we'll receive a 2.2, and in 27, 28, a 1%. We will reopen if the COLA exceeds 3.4%. We'll see if that even happens, but we are happy with the results. We have a total compensation increase of 7.22%, including step and schedule adjustments that we negotiated. I got to say, we had 85 members show up to vote at our special meeting for this, and it was unanimous, and it was amazing. I don't think I've ever seen 85 people come to vote at one of our meetings. So we had Jeremy there, and we had Austin, and they were there to answer any questions, and it was just really good vibes there, so we're pretty happy. So, I don't have my picture. Oh, my little AI photo of Maddie Cleaver, which she would be so sad. It was fun. There it is. So that's Maddie Cleaver in AI. She's been appointed as our CSEA vice president. She's going to cover my 100 days while I step out on my internship with CSEA at the end of January, interning to possibly be a labor rep someday. I've got goals. She's going to be amazing. She's, if you don't know her, you should know her. She's smart. She's connected. She's going to do a great job while I'm out. So I'm excited for her to learn some things. She does have a lot to learn. I know she's a little nervous, but I know she's going to get it, and I hope she stays in and as an engaged and involved union member. We've been meeting in our employer relationships committee with our district leads. We've discussed things like PD days and debriefing our professional development. We had training days made possible by district leaders who came to help train a lot of our members. This was wonderful to be able to have this time built in to our schedule so that we can become quality workers. We did have little oopsies with some things, but we missed some secondary members. That's the secondary schools, middle school, high school. But we're working on a tentative agreement to build something in for them. Hopefully this year, we'll see what we can do. If not, we're going to catch them all. We're going to get them all next year. We've talked about job calendars, just staying consistent when positions are vacant. Hours are always negotiable. And we talked a little on that. And then communication and chain of command. Just making sure that my members understand there is a chain of command, that when there's troubles, you don't just immediately call your superintendent. You might want to call your union rep. You might want to speak with your supervisor, and then you go from there. So educating our members is constant. So, but we discuss these things in our meetings. I had an opportunity, and I want to continue having opportunities to meet with community members who continue to show up at school board meetings. I had an opportunity to meet with our friend Kevin Scanlon. He came here tonight to speak. And who is he? Well, he's a community member. He's been a community involved Windsor community member for almost 30 years. And I had a chance to meet up with him. I seeked him out and wanted to hear, what is he doing? What's he doing here? He comes here to talk about the development at Windsor Creek. And I know that development can be something for our members and for teachers as well, a place to live in the town that they work. I asked him, though, why he uses his 3 minutes at nearly every board meeting. And he said he's here to educate. But I gotta say, after listening to Kevin, I did my own Nancy Drew sleuthing on things he shared with me, and I really couldn't find many facts. And I believe that education does require facts. It's not perceptions, and it shouldn't be coming here with personal judgment. When you come to this podium, I think you have a true responsibility. Without having all facts, you're not really educating, you're performing. You're standing on a soapbox. And because the board can't respond, it's not really a conversation, it's just noise. The Cora Creek project is about helping classified and certificated employees live where they work. That's building roots, it's not bending rules. I want this for my members. I'm going to be someone who will continue to say this is good for us. I would like us to come here in a peaceful manner as a community to work together, to not fight with each other. I want more for us. And I know, again, Kevin has his opinions and everyone has a right to that. And I have mine, and I definitely thought through a lot of the things he said, but I definitely think that if we could work together peacefully, we're gonna build some great things here in Windsor. So that was that with my meeting with Kevin. And I plan on doing that more with other community members who come here and maybe fight against things that cross into my CSEA lane. So we did have our town hall last night. I know it up there, it says until next time, and please, we'd love you to come and join us, but we did have our town hall last night, actually. We didn't have many members show, but I'm always open to just reaching out to everyone on a personal level where it's not just a meeting, it's a place, a formal meeting. It's a place where we can just share without a recording, and a place for people to share whatever, and that I'm having a personal moment with all of my members. I'm all about that. So thank you so much. If you have any questions or comments, I'm open to that. Otherwise, yes.
When is the next town hall, Sheila?
The next town hall is the third Wednesday. I'll send it to you. It's the third Wednesday of November. I just can't remember the date, but I will send you date.
At Brooks or somewhere else?
It'll be at Brooks Library. We always have it there.
Thank you.
And yeah, and we'll be there. And we'd love to have you come, because even just having Austin and Jeremy come to our wages vote, it's our members are feeling seen. And I think that's like a very important thing for us. So please come. I'd love to see you there. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheila. All right, we move to item 310, approval of the minutes from September 18th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Do I have a second? Thank you. All in favor?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, then item 311, staff recognitions. If anyone wants to stay for it. Sorry, I didn't call it out early enough, but.
I don't have any staff.
Oh, we don't have any. Okay, never mind. Never mind, false alarm. Okay, moving on to the consent action items. Item 4.1 I will take because we have a recusal. This is consideration of approval of the PAO. Do I have a motion?
Move approval of item 4.1.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I'm recusing myself, Jen.
Thank you. Okay, and then I'll let Rich take the rest of the consent action items.
Thank you. Hold on 1 second here. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve consent items 4.2 through 4.8. Jen, I just want to make sure that 4.8 is the last one, because when I looked up this online, it said that it hadn't been finished or there was something waiting.
Yeah, it was glitchy, but it's fine.
It is, okay, so yeah, so 4.2 through 4.8. Just want to, I guess, second, that'd be great.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
It's her birthday. Let me help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
And then do we have any discussion on these items?
Yeah, just have, need to get like a flag or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, only on 4.4, above the fold, there was the $5 million. Kevin Scanlon alluded to it. It was a very generous offer from our neighbors. And I think it goes to show where relations are built. Other government bodies that sit at this dais, I don't think would anticipate getting that sort of interrelationship with our tribal neighbors down the road. And so I would greatly appreciate that and the integration. And, we have indigenous education programs and other things that are now core parts of our educational system. And I think it's just an example of what happens when there's collaboration. And so I wanted to pass along that I know a number of folks who are on other school boards, and almost to a person, they communicated with me when they saw me and say, what was that all about? And I said, virtually unsolicited, so anyway, just wanted to share that and pass along to the.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, and I think we should acknowledge that donation, which was huge, and say thank you to the Lytton Band of Pomo Indians for contributing to our preschool program and really saving the day, and enabling us to offer pre-K TK to our community. So we are very, very grateful for that.
That's it.
Thank you. Both excellent comments, and I'm pretty sure the tribe is aware of how grateful we all are, and how awesome that's going to be for all the kids that are going to be coming through. It's going to be just fantastic. So anyhow, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any opposed? All righty. Thank you.
Okay, item 5.1, we have our Williams quarterly report by Brian Williams. No relation.
So we will have to do a hearing for this.
Okay. Do I need to open the hearing now? Okay, I will open the hearing. It is 7:26.
And while we're doing our minute of time to see if anyone wants to do public comment, we had no findings on this quarterly report. It is the Marjorie Mejia preschool, and so we were discussing, do we call it Marjorie Mejia? Do we call it the Marjorie Mejia preschool? Do we call it Mejia preschool? So that's what we're going to start making sure, because that's public knowledge, and we're going to be doing a nice ribbon cutting and signing and naming ceremony for her to recognize her. So Marjorie Mejia preschool.
Awesome. Okay, I'll go ahead and close the hearing. It's been a minute. We haven't had any public comment. I will need, I believe, a roll call for this, but first I need a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-08 for our Williams quarterly report.
I'll second.
Okay, resolution, roll call vote, please.
Stephanie Ahmad.
Yes.
Paul Cagorno.
Yes.
Rich Carnation.
Yes.
Malinali Lopez.
Yes.
Rebecca Herman.
Yes.
Natalie Valdez.
Yes.
Bill Adams.
Yes.
Our next item is 5.2. We are looking at the request for approval of a novel adoption. It's Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This item is going to be presented by Annette Zucconi. Our Director of Curriculum.
Good evening. Nice to see you. So you have today. I'm not going to ask for your approval tonight. Tonight is about providing you with the
first
information.
reading.
So at our next board meeting, you will have had time to review the proposal. In the proposal, there are some links provided by the teacher who made the proposal, just to give you some references and go out and do a little bit of research on your own. If you want to bring questions back, she will be here next month to answer questions and ask for your approval.
Okay. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
When you said that name of that book, I love that book. I have the whole series, and they're very worn. And so I think we should approve it. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it's a great book.
We've got one.
Vote, Rebecca.
We've got one. All right. Well, the name of the teacher is on the proposal. It's for the Build Corps. And you can see in the proposal that she did, there's a very thorough information, including standards alignment and how she will be using this in her class. The proposal was reviewed and approved by the Teaching and Learning Advisory Committee. So they put eyes on it as practitioners looking for standards alignment and strong instructional practices. So you've got some backing from your teacher committee.
Great.
Stephanie?
Oh, go ahead.
Sometimes we get these and they come with big flags of controversy about them. I'm just kind of curious, Rebecca, what was it for you that resonated from this book or the series?
Well, I think it's really well written, which is great for it's really well written, but it has a really great subject matter as well. It's like dystopian meets kind of has some romance, and I just think it's the type of book that will appeal to a lot of different students. And I think that it's we were talking about reading comprehension earlier, and I think it's very hard to comprehend something that you don't care about. And I think that book will help students, will get students interested so that they can practice that skill.
I'm sorry. I read through this so that way you let the teacher know that I'm concerned. So I don't know what this book has to do with the Build Corps. But when I did a cursory little looky look on this thing, I didn't read the book, didn't get a chance yet, but the content warnings on this book, death, violence, mass killings, physical abuse, emotional abuse, child death, suicide, sexual harassment of a minor. That's just the first line that comes up. I'm a no, and I'm not going to change. Doesn't matter what comes up. Maybe the problem, our next item, 5.4, we're going to be talking about board policies and things. And in our board policy that we're going to be talking about is what? Security plans, active shooter drills, cybersecurity, installation of interior door locks. Why do we have to talk about those things today that we never talked about those things when I was a kid growing up? It doesn't seem that long ago. I know growing up, I never read any books. I wasn't asked or made to read any books. It wasn't part of the curriculum that had anything about mass shootings, mass anything. Yes, we had some history lessons about some really evil people that did things. We can do better than this. I don't know how this is uplifting or making any of our kids' lives better. And I don't care if a mass murder was written beautifully. I could care less how it was written. Why do we need to keep polluting our young people's minds with these things? I just don't get it. We can do better than this. I don't care if there's some really cool things in it. There's some things in it that we don't need to be putting in our kids' minds. They're going to be inundated with a bunch of terrible things pretty soon. and they have access to it now. I understand that, but we don't have to feed it to them. And so I'm not going to vote to approve it. I don't know what could be said next month that's going to change my mind. Is it possible? I guess everything's possible. But I think we need to start having a higher level of the things that we're exposing our kids to. And we keep hearing about these terrible things that happen across our country in schools. Maybe we need to start thinking, let's stop bringing it into our school in a book. So that's kind of where I'm at on that one. And I hope.
I want to, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to add thanks, Rich. I always appreciate that you speak your mind and, provide your perspective. I just wanted to give just a slightly different perspective on that topic of like the very difficult, horrible things that we kind of see in the world. And, a couple weeks ago, I don't know where that noise is. Sorry, I got distracted. There's like mood music going on. Oh, it's your phone. Okay, no worries. No, it just happened at a really funny time. But the thing that I wanted to say is a few weeks ago, something happened where somebody was murdered when they were giving a speech. And I think, people know about this event that happened. And it was filmed. And then on the same day, pretty much every kid who has a smartphone in this country watched that person die. That's just what happened. The video was shared widely. It was very shocking. And a lot of adults shared it too. But I guess it's like our kids have something at their fingertips that shows them everything that's happening everywhere, kind of the most shocking things that you could imagine that could be happening. And so I wonder also if there's a case to be made that this could be like, that they are dealing with really difficult things coming from the outside. And is this just making it more relatable that we're talking about things that are actually happening that they're actually seeing and grappling with? I don't know. Just a thought.
I always appreciate your perspective because you're probably one of the most well-balanced thinkers that I know in my lifetime. When you were just talking about this, it just kind of popped in my brain. I just want to throw this out there. I've heard the phrase, in the world, but not of the world. Yes, the kids have access to the phone and they can see that. That was an unfortunate thing that happened. I felt very bad for those two little kids that are never going to know their dad. And yes, a kid can choose to look at that or other things that are available to them. And that is the reality of life. But are we promoting them looking at it? That's the difference on whether we approve this stuff like this. So, that's my thing is that, look, if we wanted this in the library, that's a kid's choice because I'm about choice too. Right? That's their choice to go to the library. That's their choice to look on their phones. That's whatever. If this is a reading assignment, that's not their choice anymore. Now this is something they got to put in their mind. They've got to figure out how to manage it or not and what to do with it. That's the difference. We're not choices anymore. We're now mandating that they bring things into their mind that otherwise they might not want to ever have in there. So that's the difference is that, yeah, the world's got a lot of ugly things in it and a lot of people see it and go to it, right? Like a moth to the light, so to speak, but we know what happens to the moth, right? So anyhow, that's just it. But Stephanie, I just want everybody to know, I love Stephanie to death. She is the most balanced, she'd be a great judge. She listens to both sides and makes really good decisions. And I appreciate your perspective on that. But that is the difference for me is that one is a choice and one is not. When we approved this, we took that kid's choice away and we mandated it. And that's my thought on it. So anyhow, thank you for letting me talk.
Were you going to say something? Because I wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Paul?
I tend to agree with Rich on this one. Our kids are exposed to enough things that they choose to look at and are exposed to in the real world. I too would be a firm no on this. So if it comes back, I won't change my mind either.
Yeah, I'm going to just be brief. But normally, when these books, come before us to decide whether they should be part of the curriculum or not, I tend to side with teachers, just because I feel that protecting the creativity of teachers and the creativity for them designing their own curriculum is really, really critical. So it's always my highest priority. But I think in this situation, I honestly feel very disappointed in this choice. Not just because of all of the things that have already been said tonight, by Rich and Paul and others, but just by the fact that since I've been here, which has now been about roughly 5 years on the board, I have been just waiting to see a book that actually represents our student population. And I'm still waiting, and we have not yet had a very good novel that represents the Mexican, Chicano, Latino experience. We've not had one. And I was thinking also, when I looked at the notes for this book, I also looked at the reviews online, and I was also horrified about, all of the notes of violence that are in the reviews. But I feel super disappointed because I don't have a better way to say this except that it's a situation, I think, of read the room. We have a student population that's 50% Latino, and I've never seen one now having my daughter also go through Windsor High School. 4 years, she just recently graduated, never had one book that represented her experience, never. And I just find that to be astounding in a school district that is diverse as ours is, that, we just don't have books that reflect, their experiences, maybe some of the beauty, the resilience that comes with being, Mexican, Chicano, and Latino. Where is that? And that's what my question is. And then the last thing that I'll say is that I was also imagining, what if I was a student and I had to go to my class and this book was assigned, how would I feel? And I would feel very depressed to read something like this in this moment in time where we have so much happening in the world. I would not look forward to this book. So I'm going to side with, some of my colleagues here, Rich and Paul.
Okay. Well, I have some reading to do, and I'm so busy that I realize the only time I read books now is when they're on our agenda for approval. So I'll be reading this book this month. I think that since we are doing a first reading, we're good, and no further comments then. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annette. Okay, moving to 5.3, this is the approval of consideration of approval of the confidential staff alignment with CSEA, TA. I don't know what the TA stands for on my agenda, but.
The tentative agreement that was approved last month. So this is effectively a request for the board to approve the confidential salary alignment with the TA that was approved last month. So it would make a lot more sense if I had remembered to submit 5.6 because it would follow this, and so you would see the salary schedules. But effectively, as presented last month, we have a 3% salary increase retroactive to July 1 for this year, and then we have the 2.2 plus the cost of a salary adjustment in 26-27, and then the 1% in the following year. So the only difference being that the confidential staff would like to take it all to salary as opposed to the adjustment on the scale, which is a portion of the 26-27 alignment or assignment of salary increase.
Okay, go ahead.
Would it be helpful if we accelerated, now that we've accepted to amend the agenda, bring 5.6 and post the schedule up? Is that what you intended to do when we added 5.6?
It would be, I mean, it would make this item make more sense. Effectively.
We do
Let's do that.
Sure.
Yeah. I think we can move that without, we already added it, so it's just a matter of moving it to 5.4.
5.6 is simply an approval of the salary schedules that were attached to the TA, which last month. So again, it's going to be for CSEA, it is a 3% increase retroactive to July 1, which will be applied starting this month, which will be great because we can offset some of the additional costs that will be accrued from the health insurance hitting our staff next month. And then, as I said, the salary adjustment for next year plus a 2.2, and then the 1% following. But I'm really just, the only salary schedules that I've posted on 5.6 are the confidential, which is a reflection of the 3%, and the classified, which is also a reflection of 3%. And then I'll bring although I have them there for view, I'll bring next year's salary adjusted schedule for full approval next year.
Okay. Let me make sure administratively I've got this.
Sure.
So are we voting on 5.3 and 5.6?
Yes, they both need approval to move forward.
Okay. And then 5.6, we don't have any documentation.
Jen, did we get an email to us? I emailed.
Oh, that was the email.
Yes,
Okay.
I emailed all that to you, and it should have had 3 attachments.
But it hasn't been posted, right?
No, it was not posted. We brought it verbally.
Because you approved it, the agenda, then I will reflect it in the minutes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we can do 5.3 first, and then we'll do 5.6.
So I had a question because I thought maybe we could look at those charts if we could put them up from 5.6. We had, and the reason I wanted to ask is we had comments from the WDEA.
Yes, sir.
Really focused on benefits, I think. What, if any, benefit adjustments are included in the CSEA tentative agreement?
CSE opted to put everything onto salary. So there is no benefit adjustment. So I think a lot of their calculus was money goes to retirement, and they opted to take everything in money in order to offset the increased costs as opposed to applying the cost to benefits, which never end up in retirement. And they did a poll regarding how many folks that are in CSEA take all of the, or use our benefits, and it wasn't a significant portion enough to offset the benefit of taking everything to base salary. So they went with salary instead of benefits, so there's no adjustment to benefit.
Okay, thank you for explaining.
You're welcome. Did I say it right?
We do. Okay, so why don't we do 5? Oh, yeah. Any other discussion from the board? Do we have any public comment on this item, 5.3? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve 5.3.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. And then we'll do 5.6 now, I think, since you're here, and it just makes sense to do it together. I'm just trying to pull up our item.
It'd just be a motion to approve it, right?
Yeah.
The attachments.
It's a motion to approve the salary adjustment for CSEA and the confidential staff for 25-26.
Okay. Okay, we're on 5.6. Do we have any discussion from the board on that item?
It's the same.
Any public comment? Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve 5.6.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Pete. Next, we have item 5.4. These are the policy changes. And remind us, Brian, what period this is for.
So this just came out in September, so we are so on track.
So on top of things.
Yes. And so the recommendation is that the board take the next month to review the changes, and anything that would just take that we would adopt, completely or just make minor, changes, that can come back to us next month for adoption. And anything that would take further review, we assign to the board policy subcommittee to do a deeper dive.
Brian, I'm sorry to ask you this question on the fly. My computer got replaced yesterday and upgraded, and my IT guy assured me that what I saw yesterday was exactly what I was going to see today. Not true. I had to redo everything, and so I was running a little bit behind. Normally, I would have called you and asked this question, and if you don't know the answer right now, that's okay. But do we have in that labyrinth of board policies, do we have a board policy about teachers, staff, trustees, whatever, having concealed weapon permits, and if they're allowed to have them at school or not? I believe the answer is no.
They are not.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And let me say that for everyone watching at home, you are not allowed to bring a weapon to school.
Yeah, kids, adults, or otherwise, correct?
JP Tamayo should be the only one with a gun at school.
JP.
Got it.
Yes.
What's it? Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure, because I've had a couple people ask me with the things that have been happening recently. They're going like, hey, we want to make sure we can protect ourselves. And I'm like, I don't think you can do that unless you're a police officer. So,
and your board policy, Rich, overrides law. So even if they have a concealed carry weapon, our board policy overrides that permit. If that makes sense.
yeah, that way they can't.
Yep.
Right, yeah, that's
Right,
what,
including
I'm
parents.
sorry. I thought I was hearing you the other way around, that, anyway, our board policy can overrule.
Correct, including parents.
No, I
Parents
mean
cannot,
that we
yeah.
could overrule and that they could have it, is what I meant.
We cannot, no.
Got it. Okay, that's what I thought. Thanks for clarification. Thank you.
Okay. So we are going to, this is a first reading, right?
Correct.
Okay. Any other discussion from the board on the policy updates?
No.
Any public comment? Okay, I'll move to the next item. This is one of our last items of the evening. This is 5.5.
Wait, what's this thing?
Consideration of approval of resolution 2026-09, allowing a temporary recycling center to operate at Windsor Creek. Tell us about this recycling center.
Yeah, so this recycling center, we're going to go back in history a little bit. You might remember that this was, I had to re-jog my brain when he originally reached out to me, because we had brought a resolution back in October of 2023 to have a recycling center opened up at Windsor Creek. It's a group from the North Bay United Cerebral Palsy Group. They wanted to open up a local recycling center. So the town of Windsor, this group, myself, we met down, we discussed it. There's certain laws regarding having recycling centers within our city boundaries, town boundaries. But in full honesty, they don't really impact us that much. We're not really responsible for it. This just happened to be that we had different properties available. We have a joint use agreement with the town to where, they asked me if I'd be willing to meet and see if we could get something worked out. So we met. He reached back out and said, hey, I'm just now about to get this permit through. Are you still looking at having a recycling center on Windsor Creek? And I let him know, that we are actively negotiating that property and that I would need to give him 24 hours notice. And he said, not a problem. He goes, I'm expecting to get a call from you one day to go pick up my stuff and move it that day. And I said, well, in that case, what days do you need it? And he said, Tuesday and Saturday. And I said, well, I could really use some people there on Saturdays. So I bring this to you guys. Just know that that group is aware that this is a 24-hour notice and that at any time they could go pick up their equipment. It's not permanent equipment, it's mobile. So it's a mobile unit that goes, drives there, they recycle, drives away.
Okay.
I got some good information on this stuff.
Go ahead, Rich.
Being part of that subcommittee. So it turns out that, oh my golly, there are more baloney laws when it comes to garbage and recycling and all this other kind of stuff. So I'm going to do my best to keep Bill awake and not go long. But the state gives the cerebral palsy folks, they get paid, they got a grant. That's why they're able to take in the recyclables and pay out to people that bring it in there, right? Now, y'all don't know this, but when you put your recycling in your little container at home and then the waste guys take it away, they don't get paid for that. They actually, it's a loss for them. So if everybody took their recyclables that they take to their house and they put in their little bins, if they brought it down to the Windsor Creek or wherever else it is, they get money for it. So when you guys you buy a bottle of Coke and there's a little recycling thing on it and you pay an extra nickel, the store says it, charges you for it, and the state of California gets it, they get all that money. And then when you recycle, just the little bit that gets recycled, that gets paid out. And everything that's left over, the state just keeps. So, and the waste haulers, they don't get it either. That's one of the laws. So one of the things I'm thinking is this would be a really, really fantastic fundraiser for all of our school sites. Is, hey, look, I'm always trying to figure out how to make more money for our district, right? So if they put it in our little containers at home and we don't get anything for it. I mean, the people, us homeowners don't get anything for it. And the waste haulers, they actually have to pay extra to get rid of it, right? If we started thinking about each one of our school campuses where all the parents are dropping their kids off and stuff every day, if we could figure out some way to do it to where we could recycle the stuff, work with cerebral palsy folks to where there could be a win-win situation on that recycling, the school district with the cerebral palsy folks. And there's actually, I think, one or two other organizations as well that get the grants. We could capitalize on that arrangement to help defer costs that right now we're most likely going to have to come out of pocket to pay. There could be an offset there. We haven't gone through it all, but I'm trying to find the pony here. And I think that this is one of them. So I think we need to start looking at each one of our campuses as a potential way to use recycling. One, we can use, we can get the kids involved where the kids can be bringing it to school and hey, we're recycling and all that stuff. All I know is recycling works. I've been doing it my whole life. I was the kid that went down Maribel Road looking for a bottle because if I could find a used Coke bottle, that equaled a big hunk candy bar. It was an equal exchange for the recycling. You think I'm kidding, but 2 bottles equals the Snickers. So anyhow, there's a lot of little kids out there that could help us recycle. But again, the more I'm learning about this thing, the more I'm like, oh my golly, this is such a convoluted ball of yarn, this waste system. But this is something that I think as a district, we could encourage. Plus, if we, as our district, start recycling certain things, we could actually get the revenue from the things we're recycling ourselves. We lower, man, there's a moth flying around here. We can lower the amount of material that we actually are generating as well. So there's some things that we can do that will help us on the expense side. There are things we can do on generating revenue and then helping everything as well. So anyhow, sorry to have to bring up, but the more I learn about this stuff, the more it's just crazy. But I see a revenue stream.
No, I like it. I will say these folks have been amazing to work with. They're the nicest people.
Great. Do we have any other comments from the board on this item? Go for it.
I agree with you. Recycling's awesome. And also, my ASU vice president and one of my great friends, who's the president of CFC, has worked to also integrate, worked with someone with the town about integrating all and like replacing all the recycling bins on campus. And I know that's been a really positive impact at the high school. And so I'm sure, anyways, like students could participate.
What's her name, Natalie?
Maddie Truel.
It is
yeah.
Maddie, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, she's the one that designed where everything
goes
now.
Yeah, so that's been awesome. And so I'm sure she would also love to. I feel like students would love to be a part of anything with recycling. It's great.
Good.
Yeah. Great. Perfect. There's so much agreement.
Actually, that is one of the things that they brought up in that meeting is that how they make this work is a lot of in lieu labor. So if we can get our students to say, hey, look, not only are we keeping our schools clean, not only are you helping out at your house, but it's a way to help support the schools. So all those things that we've been putting in containers and sorting out, to have the waste hauler take away and then have to pay for it, now we should develop a different thing where we just take a different step, and that becomes revenue instead. So I know how you love revenue, and I got our friends in the audience that they were listening to. So anyhow, good opportunities.
Yes, definitely. Do we have any public comment on this item? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve this item.
I'll second.
Okay, and then roll call vote, please.
I thought Bill,
Oh, I don't know.
Did
Maybe you
Bill second?
I don't.
did you second that?
No,
Natalie was strongly considering, but she's going to hold a second off for another
she's
meeting.
going to wait.
Oh, so you're going to second then? Perfect. Hang on.
Okay, and then we'll need a roll call vote, and the students can go first because.
But
it's roll
Stephanie,
call.
just real quick, Austin, where at Windsor Creek are they going to be setting up? Just so people at home listening, they know where to go.
Where the bus loop is.
The bus loop, so
Bus
on,
loop.
not the Rosendo way whenever.
Right behind the
Not
bowling
Armando.
alley.
Yep. Right
Behind the bowling, okay. Thanks.
Okay, good to know.
Stephanie Ahmad. Oh, no, sorry, the students are going to do it. Rebecca.
Yes.
Natalie.
Yes.
Stephanie.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Rich.
Yes.
Malinali. Yes. Bill.
Yes.
Great. All right, item 6.1. This shouldn't take long. Future board agenda items. I just wanted to circle back and remind us that we asked for a workshop on the test scores. I think we also want to look at e-bike policy as part of our subcommittee, so we can keep that on our policy subcommittee agenda. Anything else? Nope. Okay. Then we are at adjournment. Thank you for sticking with us, friends. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, and I will second in honor of your birthday.
Thank you. I get to go celebrate now with my family. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.